Music is a mistress, and it has to be treated that way. You can always find more depth into yourself and also the music you create. I love this challenge of us going to recording studio. This fact exposes us in a way that we cannot hide from ourselves. Everything comes to the surface. Our emotion, our mindset, state of being. What we try to achieve is to embrace these and then deliver a certain quality of our performance. It's a not easy task to do, but these circumstances actually tell us where we are with this process. So it's an opportunity. Okay, and what we do with it, it's up to us. We can run away from it or just face ourselves through that experience. Let's take a look what happened to us during the verse recording with the guitar. Our time with each other, it's limited. That's why we decided to release a previous video what covers the introduction of that fact. Our video starts from the point when we introduce the verse with the guitar. Let's take a look. In order to pursue the verse, I have to switch sequences. So now, sequence verse number 2, it's called verse, and on the after track number 5, we are going to change it to guitar, electric, and we are going to generate new plugin. And the new plugin, we are going to establish the same guitar, the same exactly plugin, so they sound cohesive. Okay. Try different things and see what works, what doesn't. Okay, so what we know so far is that there's a lot of piano. Okay, like the piano goes up and down. So the last thing I want to do is to interfere that. So I'm going to look for those gaps. And when the gap appears, when the piano player plays less, I will kind of add my 5 cents. All right. Let's try to record it, see what happens.
Let's try it again. Okay, right now I'm not looking for any mistakes because I could fix them in the editing mode, no problem. I'm looking if the essence, what we just record, it makes sense. If what we just presented, it kind of complements and expands that rhythm section or diminishes it. I'm not sure yet if we should delete it or keep it. So let's just move forward towards the acoustic sound. Maybe that acoustic guitar, it's gonna inspire us slightly different way. There 2, generate new plugin. We are going for acoustic guitar. All right. So instead of me repeating the same kind of notes we just discovered through the electric one, I'm gonna search for a new material, new ways of expressing that instrument. One of the ideas is to change the register. See what happens. Okay, I love it already. Let's just play with that sensation. I will follow the chords progression. So right now it sounds like a one big mess. But if we mute the previous guitar, you're going to hear the acoustic experience. I can always change notes, no problem. It's just the flavor. All right, just a little bit more than that what we just heard, and we should be fine. But I like this. I like this idea. From the top. All right. I'm not. There are certain moments I would love to change later on, but for now, this is what we have. All right. During the verse, we recorded two different layers of guitars. One is electric, one is acoustic. They are different from each other. In the introduction, we decided to play them at the same time. They are slightly different, but they keep that cohesiveness. In a verse, we went wild with both. They stand for different flavors, so we have no choice but to choose one of them. So let's just listen quickly what the electric does and what the acoustic... You just heard the acoustic, let's see what the electric does, and then we will make our decision. We are going to mute the acoustic and unwind the... Let's see what happens. Don't worry about mistakes. Just think about the flavor. so this is the experience of the electric. Now for fun, we're going to unleash both and see what happens. Alright, definitely we cannot play both at the same time. Unless you copy and paste the same material from the acoustic to electric and then combine these two sounds. Now just remember this, we combine these two sounds during the introduction. So now verse supposed to sound a little bit different, which means we don't have to play all our resources all the time. Creating then balance between soft and loud, right, will create that movement, what you're looking in music. So let's just stick to the acoustic guitar for now during the introduction. Instead of deleting it, why don't we mute it? Okay? So now as you see the electric guitar, it's muted. You won't hear it during the verse. But when we scroll back to the introduction, you will realize that both guitars are unmuted. So this is a beautiful, powerful thing about the MPC-X. We are going to use something called next sequence. Right now, we've got two sequences, 1 and 2. They manifest under path number 1 and path number 2. By pressing these, we are going to switch from one sequence to another. You can do it on the screen the same way. So we are going to listen the intro, and when it kicks in, I'm gonna switch to verse, and I'm hoping that it's gonna shift in the end of the first introduction into immediate verse. Here we go, let's listen. Okay. Of course, during the editing, I'm gonna expose any mistakes or any intervals what basically don't work with each other. I'm talking about selecting the piano track, for example, and the guitar track. So we can mute everything else except these two. And all of a sudden, I'm gonna search how they interact. And if something is too much or too little, I'm gonna add or eliminate. Okay, that's how we practice our ear training, what works, what doesn't, and just that's how you become honest about what you hear and what has to be done. That's the electric. All right. And that's the verse. So we're going to, introduction. So let's just switch to verse because there's more going on in a verse. And play from the start. So we are going to have piano and the guitar. So I've got the sense of the pulse. And I'm thinking relationship between guitar and piano. You see, so there's certain piano notes I don't care about and I can very easily grab and delete because they don't bring anything except just noise and distraction. That's how we measure the balance between these two voices. Now, if I decide to skip the piano and go for acoustic bass and acoustic guitar. So I've got this sense of the pulse. You see? So I'm looking for this organic feel of interaction between them. So I care about this relationship. Now piano gives extra flavor. These piano notes unnecessarily. Okay, so you've got the idea. Eliminate the drum set, number 1. Number 2, keep instruments responsible for the chord's progression. Now check on bass, check on the guitar, relationship. Check on the bass, check on the piano, relationship. Check on the piano, guitar, relationship. Check on 3, playing at the same time. This will basically train our sense of the direction. Now, if I experience something, it's like this is too much, I'm gonna delete certain notes and listen again. I'm gonna add, by using punch in, punch out, additional notes if I think that it's not enough. See, that's the game. That's the game what will allow you to shape you as a composer and arranger. And then you make, in the end, you make layers of decision making. It's like going to the beauty salon, you cut your hair, right? And you continue cutting. And in the end, you end up with absolutely nothing. You decide to shave your head. So we have to be careful because there's kind of, that process reminds me of that visit in a beauty salon. Okay? It's very important that you have a clear vision what you want and the direction where you're going. Now you start shaping the music that way. The music wants to breathe, wants to feel organic. If you are drawn into acoustic sound, these instruments supposed to interact with each other. Have fun. In the end, you achieve certain result. Now, what I do, I love to put it on hold, save the whole work, shut it down, and do something else. I like to revisit this recording the very next morning. Now everything is fresh about me. I just woke up. All my senses are vulnerable. Now I listen, and very often I realize, what is that? Okay? Something I loved deeply a night before turns out to be a nightmare the very next morning. That's why making minimum cuts and taking your time allows you to observe your creation in a way like nothing else. Okay? Believe me, there is moments that you know this is it, this is exactly how I want it, period. But they don't come often. You will have this experience from time to time, but not always.
Next time when we see each other, you're going to witness us using samples of congas into our rhythm section. What are the challenges for you at this moment? We would love to hear from you. Just drop us a note in the comment section. Until then, my name is Piotr Kowalczyk. See you next time.